and welcome back. Today we're going to be playing some more Orzhov discard with United Battlefront. If you don't know what this card is or you haven't seen it in the meta quite yet, but we get to look at the top 7 cards of our library, put 2 non-creature, non-land cards with mana value 3 or less from among them onto the battlefield, the rest on the bottom of our library in a random order, and our entire deck outside of 8 cards, I think fits that description other than itself, obviously, so I guess 12 cards don't meet the requirement, but everything else in this little pile here does. And we have Hopeless Nightmare and the Pixie plan, as it is a very good plan to be playing, along with the Kieran to add in. And then we have the Temporary Lockdown as a 4 of as well, to kind of suck up all of our permanents and matchups that it might not matter for our opponents, or take all of our opponents' stuff under Temporary Lockdown, because it does fit that category of, like, I think in standard right now there is 1 of 4 cards you have to be playing if you want to be winning, at least, like, overall, and that's Temporary Lockdown's one of them. I think Shelter by Ghost is another. I think Quarry Steelcutter is another, and then obviously the Mice plan. I guess that's more than 1 card, but if you're playing a Heartfire Hero, you're playing Manifold Mouse and Emberheart Challenger, you either have to be playing Heartfire Hero, Temporary Lockdown, Shelter by Ghost, or Quarry Steelcutter, and that's typically the game plan to win. There's obviously, like, Hopeless Nightmare and all that's good, but struggles against Quarry Steel pretty heavily. But outside of that, we are playing Bandit's Talent, which is one of my favorite Bloomburrow cards. I think this card's really cool, and it's designed to, like, have a payoff for its game plan. Where it enters, our opponent has to discard 1 card guaranteed, and 2 cards if it's only lands that they're able to discard. So sometimes this can get 2 cards for 2 mana, which is pretty awesome, but most times going to be 1. And then we have that payoff at the bottom for 5 total mana to level it all the way up to 2 and then 3. It deals 2 damage if they have 1 or fewer cards, and if they have 1 or fewer cards, we draw 2 cards instead of 1 card on our upkeep, so it allows us to get more cards while our opponent's losing all their cards. Nowhere to Run and Momentum Break for removal, the Battlefront, and 4 Lilianas to play, and hopefully all, or just take away everything our opponent owns. And with that said, not a whole lot more to say about it. Let's go ahead and dive into the games. Alright, well, we have a playable hand, I think. I mean, I know we do. So we'll start off out with the Hopeless Nightmare, and we'll lead right into probably a Bandit's Talent. Oh, maybe a Nowhere to Run. Maybe I lied. And Nowhere to Run. But seeing a Mountain discarded and a Village in play kind of means that they're only going to be mono red. So I'm just going to Nowhere to Run this whenever they play Manifold Mouse or whatever it is. I always get them backwards at this point. Well, so here's the cool thing. I'm actually not going to do that. I'm going to flash in this Kieran. I'm going to pick up this. I'm going to block here. Now I get to do really cool stuff. Really fun, hip stuff. You know what I mean? So now we get to play Momentum. Start the speed. They sack Hero. I take 1. I Hopeless Nightmare. They take damage, putting our speed to 2. Which doesn't matter outside of just our Momentum break. So it does gain us more life maybe in the long run, but later down the line. But typically this matchup comes down to, like, oh, we took all the resources away. They have nothing else to do. Here. I can't block this turn. Now it's a 3/3. Where to run, take it off while we can. Pixie, and we have a Liliana, so I don't really need to pick up the Nowhere to Run. I want to eliminate their hand from them being able to hold stuff. Not a +1/+1, it's just a 1/0. And its talent down. I'll discard that last card, and then we'll level up to Bandit's Talent. Could be going for a Liliana here. I just don't know if it's necessarily worth it right now. Especially in a spot like this, where now Liliana is obviously going to come in and minus on that. Game will be over once they hit a land, as you can tell. They're definitely, like, whiffing on the lands. I have a hair inside my glasses, like, bothering me. That's why you keep seeing me touch my face. So yeah, this should be roughly where everything falls apart for them. I'm just gonna level this up. I know I have a battlefront. We'll plus. We'll get rid of the hopeless nightmare they know about. Not really a draw I can think of that gets them out of this. I like that just doesn't do it. Can't use our village on it either. Sure. Take a draw. I'll take a draw. I will plus get rid of my land.
Drop it.
This. I don't have a way to pick up my stuff, so I'm not even gonna do that. I don't have a way to pick it back up. I just don't think it's worth, especially when we have a fully leveled up Bandit's talent. Fire Claw, they can give it haste, they can answer my Lily. Kind of staying around, I respect it, but I just don't know how they beat 2 cards a turn ever, but no. We'll see.
With friends.
I guess if I draw like this, there is one way that they can do it. It's I draw horribly. Here. So they have nothing. We level this up. And we just pop this for a little bit extra life here. And they have to win this turn or they'll lose the game. Yeah, just our ping damage. We get there. Sweet. I was like getting a little nervous that we were going to actually fumble that game away somehow. But I wasn't entirely sure how that would actually happen. But I don't know. I've done stuff like that before. So this looks like a perfect hand to run into the omniscience pile. I got a little nervous when I said that because I was like, oh yeah, here we go. Play your blue-white land. It's the mirror adjacent, that's for sure. Here's momentum break. If they want to flash in a creature, then sure, momentum break will answer that. But either way, we're gonna take a card from them. Yeah, so we're in somewhat the mirror. The preacher. They play that because we just played this, so it's very likely that we won't have a second one, but my oh my, would you be wrong? The kind of hard to answer creature out of the way. We get to play a Hopeless Nightmare, take another card out of their hand. Here's a temporary lockdown. Definitely not something they're probably wanting to use because if it ever gets blown up, they lose everything. Do here. Their land has 3 power and toughness. It's just target creature. Don't bring it up, okay. Sure. I have plenty of lands to spare. Here's my temporary lockdown. I don't want their Hopeless Nightmare underneath there. Now we'll pass, and then when they go to Hopeless Nightmare, this last card in my hand, we will then hit the temporary lockdown. Here. Which, I guess they'll get my temporary lockdown back, but they'll get my temporary lockdown for me to discard, but that's okay. Not a whole lot of cards for them to discard here, but I just want to be ready for whenever I top deck a Liliana or something. I'm just good to go. Sure. Upsy daisy. I play the creature land for the mirror, I guess. Sure. It has vigilance. I will keep attacking because it doesn't really matter if they block because it is a 1/4. Upsy daisy. Yeah. Pass. Why put a stop on our upkeep? I don't know. That depends what they do. They hit an Unholy Annex, the game just ends kind of on the spot. Oh, that's a card that's in their arsenal for sure. If I pop this and I hit a Battlefront, it's definitely possible. Yeah, so it's probably worth this, taking a turn off of attacking. Most likely. Especially because now with that pause of the card in their hand, they might have an answer to this. The talent's pretty good. Not the best card of all time, but it's pretty good nevertheless. Actually, it's pretty solid in this spot in general, just because I get to level it up and then I can level it up again and then isolate their hand. Nowhere to run. Obviously, that doesn't really do anything. They might as well play it instead of just losing it free. So, the race is on. Yeah, nowhere to run would have gotten our fortress because it would have blocked and then nowhere to run it. Take 3. Land. We go level up. Now we can crack these breakers, so it actually is pretty okay. Turn. 6. Probably won't play anything, because I can't imagine they would play anything. Unless it's an Unholy Annex, because that would replace the card. Sack one of these. Give herself 4 turns, I guess, of clock to worry about. Nothing there, okay. This just takes a card away from him anyway, so we might as well do this. If we're able to. The only thing it punishes us is if them having a nowhere to run. We've already seen 2 of, so it's kind of unlikely. It's like way more likely that they're just holding this. Like holding these, so my bandit talent's bad. Sure. United Battlefront at some point would be good, but I don't know if that point's ever coming. It's just state of the game. Combat. Game is whittled down to like the weirdest kind of game I've ever experienced. Even like a bounce effect off the top at some point would be nice. But I will play a lockdown to pick this up and this up because that would be a discard 3. And we somehow win by our opponent drawing nothing but air but holding the cards for our bandit talent and our land attacking them over and over again. Well, we just really need to hit a land here and our hand flows pretty well. Look at that sneeze. Or I brought it up, now I don't have to sneeze and I won't sneeze until like 3 o'clock in the morning. Out of nowhere. I'll wake up and be like, what happened? Who's breaking in my house? It's always been me. Red. Shocker. Sometimes it is actually genuinely a shock just because, like, well, it's not whenever they mulligan. Typically, aggro is the deck that has to mull because they're the only ones with that flirt with low enough lands. I don't know if Arena's done anything with, like, the hand smoother because I don't know if it's just me. I have actually felt that mono red players have to mulligan a bit more than they used to, which is weird because like I never felt that way before. We're gonna do Liliana here because if Liliana stays or even gets hit with the burst lightning, she's done her job entirely, and then we just get to kind of sit here and float about. If we hit and then we get the temporary lockdown, then obviously that's great. Yeah, so a situation like this is awesome for us, especially if they shelter by Ghost or Liliana. That's exactly what we want, because this means our Liliana is going to fully get reset, and that should close out the game, if I had to say so. So let's know where to run. Let's get the Scavenger. Don't want a temporary lockdown. Momentum Breaker can answer anything pretty easily, even the Screaming Nemesis. And here I'm going to get rid of a Kieran. But I do feel like the red or any just aggro deck in general has had the mull more than usual. Even sometimes whenever I'm playing red, I feel like I've had a couple of times where I have a no lander, which is crazy. For best of one, I understand in best of three having a no lander happens all the time. No landers happen in Commander. It happens everywhere, ever. Literally not unique to any one playstyle, right? So, I guess we plus, and I get rid of the lockdown? Or no, it's probably momentum break here. Yeah, it's momentum break here for me. There's that. And then I'll just temporary lock down this board. Because once we're past this specific turn, I can then hit the temporary lockdown. I'll even let Liliana sit at 3. Because we're going to have a nowhere to run and all that kind of come together. Or at least it feels like I should try to do that. We'll wait. Alright. Thankfully we waited. Battlefront. Bandit's talent. Nowhere to run. Yes. Get that last kid. Yeah, that makes sense. Bandit's talent has actually been like a lifesaver in this deck. I'm gonna get rid of the Kieran. I don't know if I can necessarily care right now.
Be outsmarting me.
And they hit a land brutal for them. Level. Plus. I just think I want to get Liliana to the point that I could technically split their mana in half or have multiple minuses. Because now she's worth a removal spell even if they do play a creature like a Screaming Nemesis. I get 2 cards for the price of 1. Plus, I got a last card from them. It's the 3rd shelter. Yes, we just played the momentum because I'm definitely going to plus my Lily here. Now Lily can ult. I could split their mana. It's just weird. Interesting. Was not ready for that card. Yep. Sure. Opponent sticking it out too is crazy, by the way. Battlefront. Oh, maybe I should have altered Lily. I feel like it's been a good game, but yeah. We just minus, get rid of that. Yeah, maybe I'm supposed to alt Lily and then barrel that. Just if we miss a Lily, we miss a Lily. We just call it whatever. But I think I was twice I wheeled one of those and there was a backup Liliana in it, which is quite funny. This hand is interesting to say the least. Definitely think it's keepable. Bit mana heavy, and we all know how 4 lands work. You always draw a 5th. I swear that's the only thing true about Arena consistently, at least in terms of consistency. That's fine with us. We have a more important card. We'd much rather resolve over that anyway. I will say, Quarry Steelcutter is a hard card for us to get through. Yep, and there's another land. There's not a lot better than that. I do think the Bandit's talent is a bit more important, but I'm not playing around 2 Spell Pierces. If they have to, they have to. But if you keep a 4 land opener, barring no matter what the deck is, you're like guaranteed to just draw more lands, it feels like. Opt, sure. I'm kind of surprised, by the way, with how popular like this deck is, that Fairy Mastermind isn't necessarily a card that gets played very often anymore. It always seems weird when those type of cards just fall under the radar for a bit. What am I supposed to do here? Just keep drawing more lands. We got it. We're killing it. Playing against the best meta deck, and I'm just struggling to participate. Well, I do know anytime we draw a United Battlefront, it should whiff in terms of hitting lands, but we have 7 lands in our top 10. Good known. Quarry Steel? No. Quarry Steel was kind of the only card I was afraid of. Why did we play that the opposite way? Who I'm losing to, by the way. What? We just didn't play a Quarry Steel first? All right. I said that in like a rude way, kind of, but also at the same time, what? You know what I mean? So I could do this one of two ways. I'm gonna play this. I'm just gonna momentum break here. I wanted to upgrade this, but they're at no point are we guaranteed that they're gonna go under 2 cards without some way to make them discard. Why do I hope that their hand just breaks in half, but I don't think it's gonna. Can't believe they did that. Alright, for a creature, they do that. Sure. There's a little bit of life here. Way to remove this. Going to play this Banish talent back down. Can I stop drawing lands, please? At some point, we gotta figure this out, man. I just want to actively participate in the game that I'm trying to play. And one less creature on the battlefield for our opponent because of the mistake they made. Obviously, we're going to block this with Spear, I think. Make a lot of sense not to. Because only Monstrous Rage works here. We'll pass. Hey, and there's a card that matters. I'm gonna actually level this up, I think. Could have a Flood Maul, but at the end of the day, I think that's worth. I don't think playing a Lily, minusing, and then getting it removed here does me much good. Or a Steel Cutter, sure. I could just lose here regardless. Definitely could lose here regardless. I don't know the math, but I'm definitely popping one of these at least. Go to 10. Is that 10? It's 10 anyway. I mean, I guess, dude. I don't know. I feel like leveling that makes sense considering I was drawing probably about as bad as we ever could. I guess so. On a red, and of course they lead off with a Heartfire hero because they always get to lead off with a Heartfire hero. That's the only thing about the algorithm I wish got checked, dude. The amount of times that Mono Red just gets started off with the Heartfire hero is absurd to me. It just always feels like they have it, I guess. I know it's not inherently true, but it just feels that way, I guess. Oh, man. They have 2 cards left, but I feel like... I don't know. Maybe the Kieran's probably just best. Okay. Or they end up targeting. Interesting. Here. I almost don't even want to pick this up because I'd rather it actually go under my lockdown for when I pick it up later. Weird. That is just a flash creature for now. There's another white source, nice, but as you can see now, we'll have this Hopeless Nightmare in here. Although I don't feel like right now I think I'm ever picking this up unless it's kind of for a lethal play or we're isolating a card in our hand. They hit that last mana source. Play this. Well, I guess with this Kieran I can just start to cycle, right? Maybe there's a Burst Lightning, Lightning Strike. Ooh. Interesting. I guess the idea changes, right? Whenever you're able to just here and pick this up on their end step and then have the Hopeless Nightmare trigger again and then lock down again. Okay, especially now. Take another card away from them. Could also Kieran just Hopeless Nightmare them again. Get rid of Burst Lightning again. I just want to do it whenever they actually put... Okay. They put a creature down that mattered, though. Before we decide to block, this temporary lockdown is going to get bounced. Therefore, the Hopeless Nightmare is going to trigger. So if they're going to use this last card in the hand, they have to choose. And yeah. Well, I don't know if that's necessarily like a big oops, right? You don't have to concede. Do whatever you want. Weird. They hit a land or they hit a valuable card. Speaking of valuable cards, we also need to hit one, because we're hitting just a lot of lands here. It's an awesome game, isn't it? Sick game, isn't it? Sick get. Dude. I feel you. Honestly, I agree with you now. Even though you spammed it like a mad lad. Nice. What a nightmare of a game this is. My dog keeps like interacting with that, so I'm just gonna mute it, I guess. Oh! Okay. Yeah, so we have 6 damage on board. Here. All right, well, they have 2 rock face villages here, so it's a bit interesting of a spot to be in. Here. 3 Hopeless Nightmare triggers. Yeah. Okay. I wasn't even gonna wait. I was gonna lock down and pick it back up, and I was gonna have them all trigger again. Very cool. All right, so here we are. We played some discard today. I haven't played Magic in at least Standard or Arena in probably 3 to 4 days. I just kind of took a break. The meta is pretty like solved, as we all know. And seeing all the Final Fantasy cards has been a bit, I don't want to say overwhelming, because it's definitely not the word I'm looking for. Taxing? Brain aneurysm? I don't know. I just like haven't wanted to look at Magic cards at all. And playing today, I just played against like the same stuff I've been playing against. So I am like super excited for the new set to drop. That's kind of what we're all just waiting for, right? We're all just waiting for, you know, Final Fantasy to be here. That's like the worst part about spoilers. I almost wish there were none until it came out, because then it's like, well, we don't know what we're getting, so we might as well just keep playing. And then like the week before everything comes out, and we don't get the rest of the spoilers until like the last day. I feel like getting all the spoilers and being like, okay, now wait 2 weeks. Good luck. It's just like, okay, cool, I guess, you know. I guess I'll just sit here. I feel like it would always be more exciting to see, like, for example, if Tarkir Ugin gets spoiled at the very end, and now you can actually go out and buy it today, now that you know that that card's legal. I feel like that drives a lot more interest than, you know, kind of everything else, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. If you have a different opinion than that, let me know how you feel down below. But overall, I just haven't really wanted to look at the client. Not that I love recording and I love doing this. It's really fun most of the time. But no, I just have literally not launched the client. It's weird. But we played discard. It's fine. It's fun. It's more fun than fine, like good. But I like Liliana. Liliana's getting trimmed at the end of the year, and United Battlefront's a pretty sweet card, and I just wanted to play it. And I think Bandit's Talent is awkwardly one of my favorite cards to come out of Bloomborough. I think this was really fun. So I was playing that enchantment deck kind of before Esper Pixie popped off. I was playing it a lot, so I was like the only one on the ladder that kind of was playing it a bit, so it was fun. There was obviously some other people brewing with it because eventually it became a deck, but at the time when it wasn't, I just loved playing this with the tracker. I was having a lot of fun with it. And now it's just like, oh, turn 1. Answer my turn 1 threat or Hopeless Nightmare, or you lose the game is kind of where we're at right now, and it just sucks sometimes. But overall, with all that said and done, I hope you all enjoyed anyway, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and I dropped my phone. Goodbye.